y'all, right now this is just time for questions. So if y'all have any more questions, go ahead, feel free to ask. But discussion will be saved for later on if we want to bring it up in new business. Okay. So if there are any other questions, y'all can ask.
Okay. John might have one. All right.
Anything on Zoom?
Yeah, John might have something.
Wait, there might be one for comment from one of the online centers.
That's correct. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So I think this is all a very, very good, valid item, a university managing its resources. It aligns with my own experience as a student who's in Houston. So there are some major universities here, like University of Houston, where their library is a public resource, but during finals week, of course, extended hours are available, but they're only meant to be available to students with ID. My only request then is that I think this program makes sense, but needs to presumably be coupled with some kind of outreach program regarding providing ID. I know there's not a big threshold to get an ID, but obviously if they're going to become a daily part of any time, it needs to be coordinated with that kind of a rollout. Is that part of the intended rollout?
Absolutely, and that's the reason I was saying that I would not want to probably really roll this out until finals, to give us plenty of time to get the word out, to work out how, we can make sure that we're addressing those who don't have. I would like to have done this even earlier, but at one point when we first went to the ID card, not all cards were, key cards and things. So it's taken us a little bit of time, but absolutely, it is our intent to work out the things. And I appreciate the questions because it's helping me figure out all the little tweaks. But I do believe, that we can always find solutions to things. It's not, not 100%, but yes. So this would be what we would be looking to do. Like I said, starting in finals, and then it would pick up again in the fall and the spring, because those are the semesters that we're open until 2 a.m. Does that answer your question?
It does, and it's just something for us to consider as well. So thank you.
In fact, I would be looking to SGA to help us get that word out. So, Senator Dwyer. Again, I'm Jeannie Stanley, and if you have any questions or concerns or anything like that, please let me know. And like I said, that was interesting information to have about. We're trying to figure out how the TJC students got access to our the one event we had that I was aware of. So that answers that question.
Thank you very much, Senator Jawad. Do you have one?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Trying to restate what you were saying.
Okay. All right, guys. For officer reports, I have been doing a lot of stuff for system this week, as far as working on some recommendations for Student Advisory Council and also helping draft our letter to system and search for the new chancellor. So that's been eating a lot of my time this week. Still trying to recruit new people to fill in the gaps when we lose people due to the timing. And so we're working on that as well. Vice President Seeley.
Okay, everyone. Good to see y'all again. I've been kind of putting together our spring semester events, as well as I've been on a new university committee that's taken up some time. And so midnight breakfast is the 27th. That invoice is in. We are good. 10 p.m. We will get there at 9:30, 9:40, 27th of this month, y'all. It's in like 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks from today. And then it's from 10 to midnight as usual. What's up? We'll talk about it. I didn't think about that. Good question. I'm working on a geo filter for that for Snapchat. And then something we've added to our calendar recently is March 28th. That's a Wednesday. Yeah, that's a Wednesday. We will be partnering with some mental health organizations on campus to put on this year's Suicide Awareness Walk. It's a really awesome event if you're a freshman or a transfer or you just haven't been to it the last couple of years. It's a really awesome event, and we felt that it was appropriate to show SJ's support in, you know, destigmatizing mental health and encouraging students to take care of themselves and to be more aware of, you know, of the signs and all those other things that go with this event. And we're really excited to be a part of it. And as it gets closer, I'll give y'all more details, but that is officially on the SGA radar. And elections are coming up. And we should have a Patriot Days event, but I'm still getting it ironed out. More next week. Have a great week, y'all.
Secretary McDaniel.
Only thing I really have is midnight breakfast. If you don't have a shirt, because we did make shirts last semester, see me in my office, or I'm gonna bring them to midnight breakfast. So just wear like whatever, and then I'll bring a shirt and I can change into it. Other than that, another new thing on the calendar, I'll just say it. I think I'm gonna say this one. March 7th, we're going to be having, it's all in the Senate, right? Okay, so we're all going to be having dinner with President Tidwell. Y'all remember last semester we did this at Holly Tree Country Club. It'll be at 6 p.m. So March 7th, 6 p.m. Holly Tree Country Club. We're having dinner with Tidwell. It's really cool, free food. It's fun. So yeah.
Holly Tree's
That's
I'll
at
just-
6 p.m.
Yeah. Other than that, I do not have anything else. It's a Wednesday. The
Okay.
Wednesday before spring break. So yes, please be there. Really cool. That's all I got.
For that event, if anyone has dietary restrictions, would y'all please email someone on the executive board so that we can send that over to Miss Debbie Wood so she's aware when she's purchasing food, and go ahead and get that as well as possibly like an RSVP. Treasurer McLeod.
Oh, sorry. Really quick. Next week, I'll bring like a sign-up sheet, maybe type deal, or I guess we can make that this week. I'll pass around a sheet of paper and just write your name. No, I'll do it next week. Think about the event. Make sure you see if you can come. I'll see who can come, and then tell me your dietary restrictions. We can just do it that way, so that we're not every which way for it.
Treasurer McLeod.
Okay, well, this week I've just been looking over my budget proposal just to make sure everything's okay, and we'll be voting on it later in the meeting. And I've just been emailing people as usual, and also I attended the Mardi Gras event last night that SJC funded, and it turned out really well. And so keep an eye out on all the big events that we've already approved and will be funding. And that's all I got really at.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
So this week I have just been kind of focused on my committee stuff, just very beginning stages of writing the ballot. So just some general announcements. If you are not on a committee, you have to get on one. And if you signed up for a committee and you do not attend and you do not fill out an absence form, it will be counted as an absence against you, which is one of your 3 unexcused absences. So stay on top of it because we don't want to send you to judicial board. So yeah, so if you're gonna miss, just fill out an absence form. They're on Canvas. If you are not on Canvas, let one of us know and we'll get you on, but everybody should be on there. Absence forms go to Secretary McDaniel, and if it's for a committee meeting, then they also go to your committee chair. So I think that some people are forgetting that committee meetings are just as important as GA. So just stay on top of that because those count as absences as well.
Can I say something? About the committee absences. When you fill out an absence form for your committee, send it to your committee chair because your committee chair makes that decision. So then Abby is not trying to sift through the different absence forms.
Now we have student voice reports.
It was the end of canvassing meetings. So if you did not schedule a canvassing meeting and you wanted to run for an office, you cannot campaign. So just stating
For
that.
an officer position.
For an officer, yeah.
Senator
Okay.
election canvassing meetings will be later.
Officer ones just needed to say that. They are closed.
Do you have the order set for student voice reports?
Yes. Body at large. All right.
Student voice reports, we'll start with the student body at large.
Okay, so about like 4 weeks ago, if you notice, the stairs between the HPR and the admin building, the railing is rusted, and so I guess during Nature or Arbor Day, like somebody was leaning on it and they just gave. So they took it away, but up top it was a lower level. So up top on those stairs, you can tell that pretty much all the bottom's rusted. So I don't know when that's going to be fixed, but they need to fix like the whole stair on the handrail going down the center stairs, because those are kind of steep and they're used a lot.
Right where those automatic doors are leaving the.
Yeah, between the HPR and the admin building.
Uh,
Right about there.
Okay. The outdoor stairs.
Matthew, I would suggest
You know, facilities, yeah.
Andrew Kraus. Just check in and say, hey, students are concerned about these stairs. What's like a timeline for getting a new railing? Then you'd be able to kind of figure that out. He should have the answers for that kind of thing. K. Krouse. Kraus. A. Kraus.
Anything else from student body at large? Eagles Landing.
Well, I really couldn't meet with Allie, but I got on the phone with her yesterday to see if there was any new updates going on. And besides the cameras that I previously spoke on last GA, the only thing that's coming up possibly is over the summer, there may be redoing all of these speed bumps. Other than that,
And college nursing.
College of Nursing and Health Sciences.
So the bathroom stalls in the women's room, I can't speak for the men's restroom, obviously, but it's like a common, we all complain about it, that the locks don't reach the latch, so the doors squeak open all the time. But I actually caught one of the maintenance men the other day, so he was leaving, and I know him either way. I was like, hey George, like this is a problem. He's like, oh, I actually just fixed the upstairs one, but that's a problem in the downstairs bathroom. And I told him, yeah, and so they're working on that. But other than that, I mean, the nursing students want more study rooms, so.
Last one. Who's the last one? All right, that's
Those
it.
picture village.
Okay. Committee reports, start with student life.
Okay, guys. The committee is on Thursdays, and we'll call it 2 p.m. for now. If that ends up being like just like one person's on my committee, we'll readjust because my Thursdays I have no class. We'll call it Thursday at 2 p.m. And this week we'll be working on finalizing stuff for Patriot Days.
Communications.
Okay. Today was just a mess. So it's my fault. But thank you for those that came and showed up and tried to. It's on me. 12:30 though. It will 12:30 from now on. No ifs, ands, or buts. 12:30 on Tuesdays outside. I'm gonna find y'all this time. But next week, if you can't come with ideas for just like a design for midnight breakfast, I have like ideas of how I'm gonna just put out for this next week. But for Tuesday, I want some ideas where we can design to put on social media and stuff like that to promote midnight breakfast. I have election stuff, so we're good there. But yeah, 12:30 Tuesdays.
SGAC.
We met on Thursday, Jolt and HSA. We approved $549 for them. It's going to be a Latin dance night, and that event's on February 23rd. If you want to go to that, sounds like a good time. And we also had Vedoc Psi come to us, and we authorized $211 for their meetings for pizza and drinks.
Rules Committee.
So we meet on Mondays at 2, so we met yesterday, and we finished going through the bylaws, and we edited some stuff, and we're hoping to present the bylaws and the new constitution to you all sometime soon. And next week
we're not meeting next week, but after that, we're gonna start focusing on the ballots.
And one quick note for student affairs is that Sarah Freshour, who has normally chaired this committee, is going to step down from that position to focus on nursing school,
You go, girl.
which is very understandable. We deal with Abby having clinicals all of the time. So in lieu of that, I will be appointing Kristen Robertson as the new chair for student affairs. And so if you want to speak on anything at this point.
I don't really have a set time yet, but on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so I'm pretty open schedule-wise. So we don't put into any other committees, just goes to the actual.
At this point, is there any old business? Treasurer McLeod?
Motion to present my budget proposal.
And motion and seconded for, motion and second has been made to present and vote on the budget proposal that was brought up last week. You have the floor.
Okay, so I'm just gonna refresh y'all on the proposal that I showed y'all last week.
All right.
Not too worried, babe. We killed it this week.
I know I am.
Yeah, it's all good.
So here's the, let me zoom it in, hold on.
I'm back.
This proposal I showed y'all last week, nothing's changed. So yeah, just look at it, I'm not gonna go through it again really. It's still just a 7% increase. That's a little increase of $2,211. And so if you have any issues or any concerns you want to voice on this, just say them now, please.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
So just so y'all know, this is a time to ask any questions about any of the budget lines or propose any changes to the proposal, because we will be voting on it today if there are no significant changes or problems with it.
Once y'all vote on it, then it goes to SFAC for their approval. So whatever we vote on and approve today gets sent off, and it's past point of no return there. So, Secretary McDaniel.
Did we decide if we can do anything like sponsor that Tyler Rock Gym event for us? Like take it out of large events or anything?
That would have come out of this year's budget, and this is budgeting for.
Oh, that don't even matter to me then. Okay.
Senator Freshour.
I like the budget. I think we rearranged the numbers to be more, I don't like the word economical, so it makes sense, but like, if things weren't being used to the full amount, I like that you shifted it over to things that would potentially need to use that money. So I don't really have any issues with the budget. Like where the money is scheduled out here.
Any other discussion?
Yeah. This is the thing. After we vote on it, it's set, so we can't change anything after that. So just keep that in mind. Okay.
Sorry, I remember my question now. My question was about the satellite campus projects. I don't know necessarily how much it's been used in the last few years, but there are 3 satellite campuses. Is $500 enough to, like if they do one like sort of project or event per year for their centers and their campuses, like is that enough for 3 satellite campuses?
I mean, I wouldn't think it's enough, but in the past, we haven't used the entire budget line as
Okay.
far as I can see.
Okay.
So there's no like anything that we can like go off of and
Okay, that makes sense.
Senator Frischer.
Makes sense.
I guess that kind of brings up a good point, but just a general question. Can they still, let's say they did want to come up with a senator project, does that come out of senator campus projects or can it still come out of the normal senator budget line?
Could you re-say that one more time?
Okay,
No,
so
I know what you're
the
saying.
kind of what you were getting at is $500 doesn't seem like a lot, but like even though we have nothing to base it off, so it's really not a terrible number. But let's say a senator from the Houston campus or any satellite campus, I want to start a senator project. Could that just come? Could that come out of the senator project line and not necessarily the satellite campus project? So that's a good.
Yes. Yes. So if, let's say, in theory, the $500 has been spent and they still want to do a senator project, there's nothing disqualifying them from being, in the other line as well. It's still a senator project. They're a senator.
So I think the $500 is okay, because we have nothing to base it off of, but if we do need to fluctuate it in future years to come, I think we can adjust it. But at this point, we might as well put money to where we know things need to be used.
Do we need to just cancel on there?
Yeah.
Do they like say anything about this? Because that's a question like about them. I know. I was just wondering if they had anything input on that line.
Distance centers, y'all have anything to add or anything?
I guess the only concern I've ever had with that funding is not that it's available. It's actually about getting the word out regarding it, which is something obviously Senator John and I have worked as much as possible, and we've had some groups have some success with it. But so it's not the dollar line; it's making sure people know it's there.
I think he's confused it with SJC because I did get an email from them about SJC. So.
No, not the applied funds, but it's the funds for us to host an event, right?
Yes. If y'all wanted to do anything, you and the other satellite senators, you just let us know, I guess. And so I guess I'm just wondering if you think, like, if you were senator next year and you know that you have X amount of dollars, is 500 enough to split among 3 campuses? I don't know if that question made sense. I'm sorry.
It did. No, and you're what you're really asking is sort of what events get used. And again, so to my point, I didn't know about this funding until literally the end of last year. So that's halfway through being a senator, right? And obviously, what does it take to throw like a town hall, right? It doesn't take a lot of funds. So to your point, it could spread pretty far. But also, we didn't really have a context for how we were supposed to use it. If we did, well, maybe we'd know the expectation is you use it in this way, and that times 3 costs this much. Did that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Secretary McDaniel.
So what if instead of having a separate satellite campus projects and a center projects, if satellite can just pull out of the center projects, why don't we just combine those two and maybe make like a satellite event kind of budget line to where they can use that towards town halls? Because what's the point of having 2 separate things that they're just going to be able to pull out of center projects anyways?
That's pretty much like I think they had something at the Houston campus last year, and that could come out of events pretty much. It could.
Like if we can give them a separate line towards their like town halls or something like that. Then I don't know if you need like 7 campus projects. Just put that budget into the center projects line and have a whole big center projects for every one of SGA within each other.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
I think what it boils down to is what that line is for. If it's for events, then we might want to leave it. But if it's for senator projects for distance campus senators, then I would agree that we can probably just put it with the other senator projects line if they are able to pull out of that line as well.
Senator Morrison.
Yeah, could we then, if we decide what, if we want it to be for either satellite campus events or satellite campus senator projects, could we rename it to state what we intend the budget to be for what we want it to be for?
Vice President Seeley.
In the past, what I know of that line has been used for was like a finals sort of program for the Houston Engineering Center, where their senators had like finals packets that they gave out to students, and it had like study materials and like pens and pencils, things of that nature. And they used part of their budget or part of their line to put on that as sort of a give back or a program to enrich their students there. And I mean, I don't know if you could call that an event or a project, but obviously it was very useful and it was a very successful program. I think they used up all of the materials that they bought. And so it's, I think possibly just having like a satellite campus line so that they always have a set amount of money that's available to them for what they need. Because I worry that if we moved it like into the Senator Projects line and we here on this campus or in Longview or in Palestine use the Senator Projects very heavily, then a different satellite campus may be left out or not have funds for what they need. That would be my concern about moving anything out of a satellite campus line.
Secretary McDaniel.
Then I think you just need to necessarily change the name of it. That's all you got to do. I think instead of calling it Satellite Campus Projects, call it Satellite Campus Events.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of changes the whole gist of it, and they can just use for Senator Projects. They can use it from the Senator Projects. How much have we used for Senator Projects?
Not
Exactly.
So
There you go, 5 points. So if the biggest campus here hasn't used $4,000, I mean, how are they not going to use it within them three and us?
Yeah.
Trying to stay.
All right.
Senator Morrison.
Do we have to make a motion to change that?
No.
No.
Senator Freshoff.
All right, I'm clearing that up. I think budget is.
Yeah.
Well, just check with the Houston guys. Okay. I mean, I'm sure they'd speak up if there was an issue with that.
anything else to add from anybody?
I just say you guys actually, you perfectly came around to kind of my original point, so I appreciate it. Thank you for talking it out.
Just want to make sure y'all are taken care of.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving this budget with the change of the line item name, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Right, that passes.
Jacob, will you please email that to me as soon as you can, preferably after the meeting?
Okay, I'll do that.
Is there any other old business this time? Any new business? Parliamentarian Hicken.
I move to endorse the library's proposal on student-only extended hours.
Second.
The motion and seconded to endorse the proposal presented by Jeannie Stanley. Katie, you have the floor.
I think that everybody can kind of agree that having student-only hours and enforcing that would be good for a lot of reasons, security being just one of them. Even if it is just precautionary, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But yeah, I think that she made some really good points, and I think that they're doing their best to cater to us as students and what we need, and I can appreciate that. So I'm all for it.
Senator Freshour.
And I agree with what Katie said, and I think we brought up some good questions to her to kind of like fine tune the rest of the plan. And that's the reason she came to us, was to make sure there wasn't any gaps in what she was trying to present to us. But I'm all for this, and I think we can get her some good ideas to make it even better.
Senator Copeland.
It's just a question, like when, at least at O-Hall, is it where each card has to be individually coded in for you to unlock all the general doors? Because would each card have to be coded in to unlock all the library?
Bedroom doors.
Or will like
It'll just be like, can I answer this question?
Yes, I'll.
So, the very first main entrance of O-Hall where you just pull your card up to it, that's exactly what it'll be. That's it. You don't need it for like other.
Okay, so that's not coded. It's just.
It's just like your card will have. It's through Blackboard, because it would be you, but you'll just hold it up like you would through our overall, but after.
Secretary McDaniel.
Wait, so you're saying that like now that I'm not a resident at Eagles anymore, my card will still work to go in there? Because I thought it didn't. Yeah.
No, your card's not going.
Oh. I see what you mean though, because I feel like now that my
No,
card's
I think
not.
he's talking about like, cause like, we have to code your cards for your bedroom
Mhm,
numbers,
mhm.
but like, there's a general code already on there for like the main entrance / the gate.
Yeah, so.
But that gets, but the library would have their own line, like their own technological way to, that it's only access for the library, it doesn't go to the campus facilities. Am I making sense?
I can clear this.
Vice President Seeley.
So your student ID card is unique to you, or else it wouldn't be an ID card. I don't know why I felt the need to say that. Everyone knows that. But they're through the computer and through the programming that your card comes from, just like you can go look at your money and your dining dollars online, there is codes associated with that. The library will be a specific location, and they'll just apply that code to every card. I'm an athlete. A code is applied to my card that allows me into the training room after hours. A code is applied to your card to let you into Eagles if you live there, or OHAL. This code that will give you access to the library will be applied to every student ID card, and you'll just hold it up. Does that clarify that conversation we were having? Okay.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
I was gonna change gears, so he had something else to say.
You know, I like the idea. I think we should actually endorse to her that we would like to get the UPD to go through and make sure that it's only students in there after 10. Because if our big thing is safety, then I don't think any student's gonna be upset with that idea.
Senator Freshour.
I think that is what she said, unless I misunderstood her. I mean, she did say, she's like, I don't know if he's gonna go directly up to every single student, depending on how many people are in there. But I would imagine, and the manpower that we can get behind it, it'll be almost the same concept. Like, maybe he just goes up to a table, hey, can I just flash me their ID real quick, and sees a bunch of orange. So I think that the thought process is there, so hopefully that will be in it.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
Yeah, so I'll just address that. I think that that's kind of implied in the policy that they are proposing. So then with this motion, if we endorsed said policy, then we would then in turn be endorsing that portion of it as well. So yes, but I agree that is an important aspect of it. But then just tacking on to that, if we do decide to endorse, I think that there should be a certain amount of responsibility on us as SGA to make sure that people know that that's going to happen and understand why and how it'll affect, their daily lives if they're always in the library. So I just think that that's going to be an important aspect of it that we can't forget, because we are here to be a voice from, faculty and staff to students. So just keep that in mind too. If we decide to endorse this, we need to be responsible for communicating that as well.
Senator Dukes.
I don't have a problem with security coming up to the library and asking CID. Just be an annoyance, and I feel kind of violated. Like, I'm studying, focused, and wrote my study in there. I know if I feel this way, there are probably other students out there on campus still the same way, and I won't vote for this, because if this is part of the proposal, I like the locked door part, but this part, like walking up and asking for IDs, I can't support.
Okay.
Senator Morrison.
I agree to an extent, Terry, and as well, like, we're not requiring people we're requiring ID to enter the library after 10, not that you have to have your ID with you after 10 in the library. So people who may have left their, I do this all the time, I leave my ID in the car, because I forget it when I go up to the library and sit on the 4th floor in Burke. So if the cop comes up there and asks me, can I say ID? I mean, I don't have it on me, it's after 10 o'clock, but I've been there since maybe 8 p.m. in the evening. So I do have a problem with that kind of resolution.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
I guess just to address those concerns, I think that if we like the proposal, we can't like the proposal but then not like the enforcement of the proposal. So I guess that's probably going to have to be where, we decide whether or not we like it, because if we say, yeah, we like that it should be students only after 10 p.m., but then we don't like how they're going to enforce it, or the only way that they would be able to enforce it, then inherently we would then not support the proposal. So if we say, yeah, that's a great idea, but don't enforce it, then there's no point in endorsing it.
Senator Robertson.
To surely state that they were gonna come up, like, I don't think they would come up to a student who is not causing any problems against safety, who is focusing study. I don't think a cop would come up to that person and ask for ID. I think let me see your ID while you're already in the library. I think that's for, if they're already a cop. That's the interpretation that I got from the So I don't think that's really part of the other state.
Senator Moser.
I don't think that the cop would come up to every student because that would be too much of a hassle for the students and for the cop.
Senator Garrison.
As like a point of information, the cops that do this in the officer building, if you log on to Canvas and show them you can get on the Canvas, that's good enough. So you don't have to have your ID on. So there's other ways they can do it. But they also do come up and ask every student, I see your ID if you log on to Canvas or something like that. Some proof. So I mean that's the procedures they use there.
Senator Freshour.
So maybe instead of playing this guessing game of what she did or didn't say, maybe we hold off until we clarify with her exactly what she intends by a guard walking around, because that would clarify a lot of her questions and maybe help us decide if we do want to support this or not. But we just need to ask her, will a guard/cop be going up to every individual student after 10 o'clock and asking for the physical student ID? Feel like we're just taking stabs by saying, I think she said this, and I mean, I said it myself, but they bring up good points. Maybe we just need to ask her and clarify and hold off on making decisions until we have a set.
Senator Morrison.
Would it be possible for one of y'all on EV to get in touch with her during the week so we don't have to ask her to come back to the Senate this week to talk to us?
Senator Sweetland.
Motion to table discussion until next week. Second.
Any discussion? All right. All in favor of tabling until next week, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? That passes. Any other new business? Advisor comments?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I go back. I'm going to listen as far as the library discussion. I thought their original discussion was just to talk about the hours and making sure, it's restricted to UT Tyler students. I feel like we're getting a little hung up on the security aspects of it. And I know that's the librarians are working on that with the police department and facilities to make sure we provide that best customer service possible to both the community and to our students. And so I'm kind of curious. I'm going to go back and listen to this and see, make sure that we're going in the right direction. But I think overall it's really good news for the students. And the last couple of years, I think this is brought up every year about the hours. The other thing, I wanted to talk about is I really want to encourage everyone, if you are considering running for an officer position, please fill out a candidacy form, because I really want every position to be contested. I'd like to see campaign materials. Like, I want students to get involved in this process, and I want them to have an active voice. And the more candidates that we have, I feel the better. That we're getting the name out there and we're getting more feedback as far as what the students want. So if you are thinking about running for an officer position, please do so. If you have any questions about that, contact Katie or don't hesitate to contact me, and I'd be more than happy to help you in getting that started. And other than that, that's all I had.
Once again on announcements, I just want to restate that the deadline for the Tyler Rock Gym trip is tomorrow, just so everyone's aware of that. And I know we did go over quite a few events during Vice President Seeley's officer report. So if you have any questions on those, please see me afterwards or see either one of us afterwards. Parliamentarian Hickey.
I'm just gonna add on to the Tyler Rock Gym announcement. Sign up is online on Outdoor Adventures under schedule. Apparently, that's what I wrote down at least. So hopefully that's correct. I haven't signed up yet. But we did motion to, endorse and request a contract. And we tabled it until we had the opportunity to go see the facility. So I think that it would be great if everyone would do their due diligence to actually do that so that we can make an informed decision as a Senate. So yeah, once again, just sign up by tomorrow. I think there's like a pre-trip meeting that you have to attend, but what? The meeting is tomorrow? Okay.
But I mean, you can schedule another time.
Okay, perfect.
Senator Frischauer.
And then to tackle on about what Vice President Seeley mentioned with the suicide awareness walk, I'm Vice President of NAMI, which is National Alliance on Mental Illness on Campus at UC Tyler. So that's my organization, NAMI, along with Psychology/Psychi Club. There are two organizations that have been putting it on the past 2 years. So that's why we came to student government and asked for a sponsorship. So we're going to come up with, give you guys more details as it does more closely, like she said. March 28th, it's a Wednesday, 11 to 3. This will be in that center. We'll be going to, but it'll mainly be shifts, so don't feel like you're going to be there the whole time from 11 to 3. But I just felt that as both a senator and vice president of the organization, we represent all the student body, and it's just important that we be there to support the student body, especially ones dealing with either suicide or mental illness in general. So I'm really excited for this event. I'll have more details for you guys as it comes closer, but it's going to be a good experience.
Any other announcements? Secretary McDaniel, would you dispense second roll call?
President Zimmerman.
Here.
Vice President Seeley.
Here.
Treasurer McLeod.
Here.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
Here.
Senator Jawad.
Here.
Senator Williams.
Here.
Senator Washburn. Here. Senator Frischauer. Here. Senator Mosley.
Here.
Senator Garrison.
Here.
Senator Method.
Here.
Senator John.
Yeah.
Senator Sweetland.
Here.
Senator Meek.
Here.
Senator Robertson. Here. Senator Daniel.
Here.
Senator Dukes.
Here.
Senator Farouk.
Here.
Yeah.
Here.
Senator Jackson. Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Mazzock. Senator Mosley. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Ivy Dello. Senator Hart. Senator Strong. Senator Copeland.
Here.
Senator Seeley. Here.
Senator Sweetland.
Motion.
Okay.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Y'all are adjourned.